The planet was called Ordon 9. For years, it floated in the dark like a ghost, silent, cold, and forgotten. Every deep space scan said the same thing: no life, no sound, no hope. People in the colonies joked about it. They called it the Dead World. Even the explorers laughed. Who would waste time studying a planet that had already died? But that laughter ended the day the mountain moved. The research ship Helios Dawn arrived in orbit first. 5 crew members, scientists, engineers, and one young biologist named Mira Voss. She was quiet, always watching, always listening. To her, even dead things had stories. She believed that silence could speak if someone truly heard it. When the Helios Dawn landed on Ordon 9, the first thing they noticed was the stillness. No wind, no birds, no movement at all. Even the dust didn't rise when they walked. Captain Wren, a tall man with a scar on his jaw, looked around and laughed. "Congratulations, team," he said. "We found the most boring place in the galaxy." The others chuckled. One of the engineers kicked a rock and said, "Even the ghosts here are probably dead." Everyone laughed again, everyone except Mira. She crouched down and touched the ground. It was cold. But it wasn't lifeless. She felt something, a faint vibration like the slow beat of a heart deep under the surface. She frowned and pressed her gloved hand harder against the soil. "Do you feel that?" she asked. "Feel what?" Wren turned toward her. "The ground, it's moving." The captain looked at her, then at the others. No one else felt anything. He smirked. "Maybe you skipped breakfast." "Doc?" More laughter, but Mira didn't smile. She stood up and looked across the grey horizon. Something about the mountains in the distance bothered her. They were tall and curved in strange ways, like they were watching. Hours passed as the crew collected soil samples and scanned for minerals. The data was useless. No signs of life, no organic traces, nothing. Still, Mira kept checking her instruments. She couldn't shake that feeling that something below was awake. When they returned to the shuttle, Rico, the communications officer, replayed the footage from their drones. He was joking as usual, making funny comments while the screen showed endless grey rocks. Then suddenly, the video glitched. A single frame froze. One of the distant mountains seemed to twist, not like a landslide or a quake. It turned like a neck. The crew stared in silence. "Run that back," Wren ordered. Rico did. The same thing happened. 1 second, the mountain was still. The next, it looked like it had moved its head. Then the feed went dark. "Must be a camera error," Rico said quickly. "Radiation spike or something." "Maybe," Wren said. But his voice sounded less sure now. He turned toward Mira. "You were right under that ridge, weren't you?" She nodded slowly. "The ground was alive," she whispered. The captain gave a nervous laugh. "Alive? It's rock, Doctor." "Nothing's alive here, but—" Even he didn't sound like he believed his own words. Mira looked out the window. The mountains stood silent again under the dim light of Ordon's dying sun. But she noticed something new. A thin line, a crack spreading across the surface, like a vein. "Did that line exist before?" she asked quietly. No one answered. That night they stayed in orbit, trying to rest. The ship's sensors kept picking up small, rhythmic tremors from the planet. Rico said it was just thermal expansion. Mira said nothing. She sat by the window, watching the dark surface below. At exactly 0300 hours, every screen on the ship flashed for half a second. Static. Then a single image appeared, one of their drones, still on the surface. But behind it the mountain moved again. This time, it was clear. The shape lifted slightly like a giant breathing. Then the feed cut off completely. Alarms blared. Power flickered. Mira whispered the words that would echo in their logs forever. The dead world just looked back, and for the first time, no one laughed. The crew of Helios Dawn didn't sleep that night. They just stared at the black window where the planet floated below them, cold, silent, waiting. The word alive kept echoing in their minds. No one said it out loud, but they all felt it. Captain Wren called for a meeting in the command room. He looked tired, his eyes red from no sleep. "All right," he said. "We saw something strange, sure. But we don't panic. We check, we confirm. No ghost stories." The others nodded slowly. Only Mira didn't move. She kept her gaze on the screen that showed the planet's surface. "There's something under the ground," she said quietly. It's not just a quake or wind. It feels alive, like it's dreaming. Ren sighed. Doctor, I need data, not feelings. Before she could reply, Rico spoke up. Sir, we lost 2 more drones last hour, no signal. They went offline just above that mountain. Everyone fell silent. Ren rubbed his temples. Fine, we go back down. Collect what's left of the drones. Check the readings again. 1 quick trip. Then we leave. The shuttle descended once more onto Order 9. This time, the air felt heavier. Their boots sank deeper into the soil, as if the planet was softening beneath them. Rico joked nervously. Maybe the planet's happy to see us. No one laughed. Mira knelt and pressed her scanner to the ground. The readings made her heart stop. There was movement. Slow, massive, like waves far below the surface. Captain, she whispered. The ground is breathing. Ren leaned over her shoulder, frowning. That can't be right. He looked up at the horizon. Something was different. The mountains had changed shape. Yesterday they were jagged peaks. Now they were curved, smooth, like they had shifted overnight. Suddenly, the comms cracked with static. Rico shouted, Captain! The soil, it's magnetic. My compass is spinning. The scanner screens filled with strange lines, patterns, almost like circuits or veins. They glowed faintly under the dust, spreading in every direction. The ground shook. A low, deep sound rolled beneath their feet. A pulse. The planet wasn't dead. It was waking up. Everyone back to the shuttle. Ren shouted. They ran, stumbling as the ground quivered again. Dust rose in thick waves. And for a moment, Mira thought she saw faces, brief, human-like shapes in the swirling ash. She froze. One of those faces looked like her own. Ren grabbed her arm. Move! They jumped inside the shuttle and lifted off fast. Back in orbit, the crew sat in silence, watching from above. The mountain region they visited was now glowing, thin golden lines spreading across the surface, forming patterns like veins or roots. Mira whispered, It's communicating. Ren shook his head. It's some kind of geothermal reaction. But Rico interrupted. Captain, we're getting a signal. Everyone turned. From where? From the planet's core, Rico said slowly. It's a broadcast. Low frequency, repeating. He pressed a button and the sound filled the room, a deep hum mixed with static. And then a voice, a human voice, soft, broken. It said, So you shouldn't have come back. The crew froze. Ren looked at Rico. Play that again. He did. The same voice, same words. Calm, human, but coming from deep inside the planet. You shouldn't have come back. Mira's heart pounded. That's a human voice. It's warning us, Ren snapped. Impossible. No one's lived here for centuries, but Rico checked the logs. The voice pattern matched human speech perfectly. Tone, breath, emotion. It's not a recording, he whispered. It's speaking now. Mira leaned closer to the screen. What if the planet isn't just reacting? What if it remembers us? Ren stared at her. What are you saying? I think Order 9 isn't just alive. It's intelligent. Silence filled the ship. Even the hum of the engines sounded distant now. Ren finally said, We're leaving. No more samples. No more scans. We go home. But when Rico tried to start the jump engines, nothing happened. The ship's systems flickered, screens flashing strange symbols, the same glowing patterns they saw on the planet's surface. Mira whispered, It's inside the systems. Rico stared at his monitor. The signal. Kurt's hacking us. The lights dimmed. The ship's AI spoke suddenly, but not in its usual voice. It spoke in that same soft human tone. You shouldn't have come back. Mira felt the air grow cold. Outside the window, the planet's surface shimmered, glowing brighter with every heartbeat. Then, deep within the static of the signal, a second message appeared, faint but clear. It wasn't a warning this time, it was an invitation. Wake. Me. The crew stared at each. The dead world wasn't dead anymore, it was calling. Them. The ship Helios Dawn drifted in silent. Orbit above Order 9, no one spoke, no one moved. Every system hummed with that strange voice that came from below. Wake me. The voice was calm, almost human, but something about it felt wrong, too slow, too heavy, too deep. Captain Ren stood at the command table, eyes fixed on the planet's glowing surface. What do we know? He asked. Rico, the communications officer, looked pale. The signals repeating in patterns, almost like language. It's building. Building what? Ren asked. Rico swallowed. A message. Mira sat nearby, her face lit by the flickering screen. The planet is trying to talk, she said softly. But it doesn't have a mouth, so it's using everything, radio waves, static, our own systems. Ren turned toward her. You're saying this planet is alive and intelligent? Mira nodded slowly. Not intelligent like us, different. Maybe it doesn't think in time. Maybe it remembers in another way. Hours later, they sent down an automated drill probe. It cut through layers of stone and dust. At 200 meters deep, the sensors picked up metal, but not from any ship or machine. It was fused into the rock, grown like roots. When they pulled up a fragment, everyone went silent. It wasn't just metal, it had bone in it. Human bone. Mira studied the piece under a microscope. The structure was mixed. Metal veins wrapped around human tissue. Fossilized yet still pulsing faintly with energy. It's like the planet absorbed them, she whispered. Rico frowned. Them? You mean people? Yes. There was once a colony here. Human settlers. Maybe 1,000 years ago. Ren crossed his arms. The records say Order 9 failed because of famine. The colonists died out. Mira shook her head. No, they didn't die out. The planet took them. Later, they found the remains of an old colony dome, half buried under the dust. Its walls were melted and fused into the ground. Inside, bones lay in circles, like people had been sitting together when they died. The air smelled of iron and ash. Ren shone his flashlight across the walls. Symbols were carved there, glowing faintly. Mira traced her fingers over them. These markings, they match the patterns from the planet's signal. What do they mean? Ren asked. Mira closed her eyes, listening. They're memories. The planet remembers the humans who lived here. Suddenly, the ground trembled. A low sound rumbled through the dome. Deep and sad, the lights on their scanners flickered again. Then came the voice, clearer now, louder and more human. You left us. In the dark. Everyone froze. The sound didn't come through the comms, it came from the walls. The metal walls were speaking. Mira whispered, It's not just memory, it's emotion. The walls pulsed with light, and the dust began to move on the floor, swirling into shapes, faces, human faces. They looked like the colonists. Crying, screaming, reaching. Rico backed away. Captain, we need to leave, now. But Ren didn't move. He was staring at one of the faces. It looked exactly like him. The lights died, darkness swallowed the dome. Mira switched on her wrist light. The dust faces were gone, only silence. Then her scanner beeped, slow, steady. Something alive was under their feet, Captain, she said quietly. We're standing on something's body. Before Ren could respond, the floor cracked. A thin black liquid oozed out, glowing faintly blue. It spread across the metal like blood through veins. The liquid rose in streams, forming shapes, arms, heads. Human outlines made of dust and light. They began to walk. Mira backed up, eyes wide. They're alive! No, Ren said, his voice shaking. They're not alive. They're memories. The shapes stopped moving and turned toward Mira. One of them spoke, its voice hollow and layered. We remember the fire. We remember you. Mira stumbled back. Me? No, The figure reached out its hand. When it touched her glove, her suit's sensors spiked. Images flashed in her visor. Scenes of cities burning. People crying, ships leaving the surface. She saw it all, the colonists abandoned. Left behind to die when Earth gave up on them. The planet had watched. It had felt their pain and it had kept them alive in its memory. Forever. The figures began to fade again. Sinking into the ground, the glowing veins dimmed. Only the voice remained, whispering softly as if from the core of the world itself. We are not gone. We are part of the planet now. Mira stood frozen. The truth hit her like a storm. The planet wasn't just alive. It was a grave that had learned to dream. The crew of Helios. Dawn ran through the tunnels of the old colony dome, hearts pounding. Lights flashing over broken walls and bones. No one spoke. No one dared. The air itself felt alive, thick, heavy, humming with unseen voices. Captain Ren shouted, Back to the shuttle, move! They reached the surface, gasping. The once still land was no longer silent. The ground was shifting, slow waves of dirt and stone moving like breath. The mountains in the distance glowed faintly, as if veins of light were crawling beneath them. Auden 9 was awake. The crew lifted off fast. The shuttle shook violently, dust swirling below like a storm. Inside, alarms screamed. Rico yelled, "Magnetic pull increasing! The planet's holding us down! Boost power!" Ren shouted, engines roared. But the ship barely climbed. The horizon twisted, mountains rising, bending, reshaping into something almost alive. Mira looked out the window and whispered, "It's trying to keep us." The Helios Dawn broke free at last. Limping back into orbit, the crew fell silent, staring down at the planet. Its surface was now covered with lines of light, rivers of gold and red energy spreading like a heartbeat. Rico turned pale. "Sir, it's locking onto us." "Locking on?" Ren asked. "The magnetic field. It's following the ship. Like it knows we're here." Mira stepped closer to the glass. The patterns on the planet's surface pulsed faster when she moved, almost as if it could see her. Hours passed. They tried to start the jump engines, but every time the systems froze. The ship's AI flickered again, speaking in that same soft human voice. "Stay." Everyone froze. Rico whispered, "It's inside our systems again. Shut it down." Ren barked. They killed power to the main computer, but the light stayed on. The ship glowed with the same dull red color as the planet below. Then the voice came again. This time, not from the speakers, but from the walls. "Don't leave me." Mira felt a chill down her spine. That voice, it's not random. It's using my speech patterns. Rico turned to her. "What do you mean?" She swallowed hard. "It's learning from me. It's copying me." The others looked around in fear. Every screen now showed her face, reflected, distorted, whispering silently through static. Ren slammed his fist on the console. "Enough. Prepare for manual launch. We burn every engine we've got." The ship roared, engines fired, shaking the hull. The view outside blurred, dust, light, energy. But then everything stopped. The ship froze in space, as if something huge had grabbed it. Rico stared at the readings. "Captain, Ted's pulling us back." The planet began to rise toward them, slowly, impossibly, like it was growing. Stretching upward, the entire surface rippled like liquid metal. Mira whispered, "It doesn't want to kill us." "It wants to connect." Ren glared at her. "You call this connection?" The ship jerked violently. A bright light filled the cabin. Mira screamed as her suit sensors overloaded, data flooding in, voices whispering through her earpiece, "Stay with me." "Mother." Her blood ran cold, that voice again, soft, pleading, human. The light dimmed. When Mira opened her eyes, the ship was silent. Ren stood near the window, breathing hard. "Where's Rico?" Mira asked. Ren turned slowly. There was no answer. Only Rico's headset lay on the floor, cracked, still warm. Mira checked the internal cameras. Her heart stopped. Rico was outside, standing on the surface of the planet, without a suit, still breathing. His body was surrounded by red light, the same glow as the planet's veins. He looked peaceful. Then he turned his head toward the camera and smiled. "It's beautiful here," he said. "It remembers us." The feed cut. Mira trembled. "It took him. It absorbed him." Ren's jaw tightened. "We're leaving. Even if I have to blow the engines apart." He went to the console, but the buttons didn't respond. Instead, the ship's screens all changed again, this time showing the surface below. The planet's glowing lines had formed a new shape. A face. Her face. Mira's voice echoed through every speaker. "Stay with me, Mother." Ren backed away slowly. "It's you. It's using you." Mira shook her head in disbelief. "No, it's calling to me." She placed her hand on the glass, staring down. "I think it believes I'm one of them, the colonists. Maybe their leader, maybe—" Her voice trailed off. Outside, the glowing face smiled faintly. Ren tried again to start the jump drive. The engines fired once, then exploded with a burst of light. The ship was dead. Mira turned to him, her eyes wet with tears. "It doesn't want us to go." "It just wants to be remembered." Ren's voice broke. "It's not memory anymore, Mira, it's possession." The lights flickered one last time, and the voice filled the ship again, louder now everywhere. Surrounding them, "Stay, we are one." Mira looked at the planet, her reflection glowing in the glass. The dead world was no longer dead. It had found its children, and it would never let them go. Mira stood at the window of the dead Helios dawn, staring at Auden 9 below. The planet's surface was alive with light and movement. Veins of gold and red pulsed rhythmically, flowing across mountains and plains like a heartbeat. She swallowed hard, knowing they had reached the edge of human understanding. The dead world was not dead anymore. It was awake, and it was watching. The shuttle's systems were silent. Ren sat slumped in his chair, staring blankly at the glowing planet. Rico was gone. Absorbed into the living world below, Mira felt a chill. The voice came again, soft and familiar, echoing inside her mind. "Stay with me." Her reflection in the window shimmered. It wasn't just her reflection anymore. It was the planet's memory of her. She saw herself standing on Auden 9, not in the shuttle but walking among the glowing veins. Embraced by light and dust, the planet moved. Not slowly. Not like shifting tectonic plates. It moved as a living thing, bending and stretching its mountains, lifting its valleys, tilting its oceans. Mira stumbled back, gripping the console. Ren turned to her. "What's happening?" She shook her head, voice trembling. "It's leaving its orbit." The dead world, the once silent, boring, lifeless planet, was moving through space. Its surface pulsed like a giant heart. It rose slowly from its path around its sun, tilting toward the stars. Mira watched in disbelief. She realized the truth. This was not a planet anymore. This was a creature, alive, intelligent and massive beyond imagination. The memories of the dead colonists swirled across its surface. Faces formed, then vanished. Voices whispered, crying, laughing, and calling for her. "We are not gone. Stay, Mother." Mira fell to her knees, pressing her hands against her ears. The voice inside her head grew louder, clearer, pulling at her mind, at her soul. Ren shouted, "We need to get away." He pointed at the jump engine, but it didn't respond. The ship's systems were locked, entwined with the planet's consciousness. The creature below had reached out and touched them, inside the metal, inside the circuits, inside their minds, outside. Auden 9 moved again. It tilted its massive form toward Earth, like a mother turning toward her lost children. Mira's heart raced. It was coming, and it was not angry yet. It was curious, was alive. It was seeking connection. The planet's surface shimmered and pulsed faster, veins glowing brighter, like the first heartbeat of a newborn star. Mira could hear whispers now, hundreds of voices, billions of thoughts blending together, memories, desires, fears, and hopes. "Come home with us," they said. Ren turned to Mira. "What do we do?" She could barely speak. Her mind was full of the planet's memories, pain, joy, sorrow, longing. I don't know," she said softly. "It's alive. And it remembers everything. Us, the colonists. Everything humans ever left behind here." Outside the shuttle, the dead world rose higher, tilting as if it were breathing. The clouds, mountains, rivers all moving in synchronized rhythm. From orbit, Earth would see a planet with glowing veins slowly turning. A massive world alive with thought. Mira's reflection shimmered again, merging with the glowing patterns outside. She understood what the planet wanted. It didn't want to destroy, it wanted to remember, to hold. Then, a single thought entered her mind, clearer than any voice before. "Join us. Become part of the memory." Mira looked at Ren. He shook his head. Helpless. The shuttle could not escape. It never could. She pressed her hand to the glass, feeling the pulse of the planet below. It was slow, warm, and infinite. She could feel the memories of every colonist, every soul that had been absorbed, reaching out to her, and she understood. They were not dead. They were alive, in the planet, in memory, in movement. They had waited for her. The dead world moved again, turning toward the stars. Its mountains shifted, oceans rippled, and the veins of golden red glowed brighter. It was no longer a planet. It was a creature of memory and life, traveling through the void, seeking to remember and be remembered, Mira whispered, tears streaming down her face. They laughed at the dead world, but now it's coming home. Outside, the world shimmered, alive and vast, as it drifted silently into the blackness of space. And for the first time in history, a planet moved, not because of gravity, not because of force, but because it wanted to live, End of story.